Welcome to Tips for Clips. Here's how to cut your hair at home like a pro, taking it from this to this. All you'll need are the Tips for Clips clippers and trimmers. You could use a hair cape, and here I'm using the 24/7 groomed self haircut template. This really helps provide guidelines for your fading, and it also helps you trim your neck, especially if you don't have anybody to help you do so. You see how it's adjustable in the back, makes it really easy to cut your own hair. When you take off that other piece, you're left with this fade guide that is rounded on one edge and straight on the other. For different fading styles, I like to use the straight edge. And this adjustable Velcro strap fits any size head, kids or adults. I'm starting here with the half guard, that's 1.5 millimeters in the opened lever position, the long position. I'll show you what that means in a second. But I'm just taking about 2 inches along my sideburns and going up to where you see the template guard ends. You just want to go about half an inch under your sideburn there, near your beard, and I'll do the same thing on the back. Nothing to it. I have a crazy neckline, I have a cowlick, and the hair grows in all different directions, so don't mind that. If you have anything similar, then you could see that going in all different directions helps. And I'm going to spend some time here because it takes a while to get past those cowlicks. You want to make sure everything is straight according to the guide. So I'm going to go and get that extra piece that's sticking out there on the left, right there. And you want to take your time, make sure it's all nice and smooth on each step. This will ensure a better fade at the end. Now I'm going to take all guards off, and if you have these particular clippers, you're going to open it up 2 notches. 1, 2. If you don't have these clippers, just open it up about halfway or a little bit more than halfway. And I'm just going to go right under where I did that, and I'm going to do the same thing on the back. Don't go all the way up to the guideline. You're about 1.5 inches or 2 inches under the guideline. So it's really helpful to have the band still in place so you have a good reference guide for precision fading. And this is going to shorten the hair at the bottom. We're trying to fade it out into our neckline. And now I'm closing it up just 1 notch, so just a little bit shorter. And I'm going to go all the way at the bottom. And now I've successfully faded the hair closest to my neck at the neckline. I faded it out, so I won't even have to make a straight line at the bottom. And I'm using the same technique here right in the middle. This is to get a really professional looking fade. You don't have to go to these extra lengths. Here's a 1 guard, 3 millimeters, closed. I'm lifting the band up, and with this 24/7 groomed band, I can actually keep it tight as I lift up because of the adjustability. Just about half an inch up. I'm going to go right above where I just was with the half guard. And I'm going to do the same thing in the back. Just going up with my 1 guard. Maybe about 3/4 of an inch here. And you can see the logic. It's very simple. We're just going to now fade it and blend it really easily. Next, I will be using the same number 1 guard, but I'm going to open up the lever. So an open lever cuts longer. So the higher up I go on my fade, I obviously want to cut with longer guards. So now that I opened up the lever, I just go another half an inch up, and I am fading my hair. I get many questions on what to do if your clippers don't have a lever, and my simple answer is you have to buy one. There's really no way to fade your hair successfully without having a lever on the side that adjusts the length of the clippers. The amount of money you'll save on 2 haircuts more than covers the price of these clippers. Here's a number 2 guard, 6 millimeters in the closed or short position. I'm moving the guideline up again, and here we just want to blend it just a bit. So the number 1 that I used before, I'm intentionally making a line. That line is not going to quite be removed with the number 2, and that's a normal thing to happen. And at the end of the haircut, we're going to get rid of that line. But right now, we just want to go along with the number 2. No big deal. And then after this step, I'm actually going to take off the template guideline. And we're number 2 in the long position. And now the goal is to just blend into the longest hair on top. So I'm taking the number 2 opened right now. And don't worry about that line that you have. That line is supposed to be there. It actually acts as a guide for the rest of our haircut. And I'll show you how to get rid of that at the end. Also a question that I commonly get. We're using a number 3 right now, 10 millimeters. And closed position, we're just going to go right above where we went with the number 2. These higher numbers are much easier to work with, and all you really need to know is that as you go up towards the longer hair on top, you want to move away from your head, away from your scalp. That helps you fade out the hair. You want it to be a smooth transition, get rid of any lines. And lastly, to fade into the top, I'm going to use a number 4, also in the short position, closed position. That is 13 millimeters. And again, the whole point is just to fade into the longer hair on top. You're going to see I'm going to maneuver the hair a little bit with my hands, make sure that it's going to be nice and smooth in the transition. You don't want any longer hair or strands coming through and messing up the fade. Really important tip, when cutting the back of your hair, you're going to turn your neck towards the large mirror on the wall, and you're going to hold the handheld mirror. So you turn your body as opposed to holding the handheld mirror behind you. Here's where the magic happens with the fading. Number 1, closed position, is going to knock out that line right away. You see how simple that is? Go carefully and slowly. You're flicking up and out. But look at that line disappear right away. You want to press gently, lightly, don't go too high. You see that fade right there? Just like you'd get at a barbershop. Now for the back, we're going to do same idea, but I just opened up the lever first. This will make for a cleaner fade. So number 1, open lever. And we're just going, an inch above where that line is. You want to go up and out, maybe just half an inch. I'm pressing gently. This is more of an art than it is a science, so you want to take your time, feel it out, feel the texture of your hair, see if it's really getting rid of that line. And you see that it is here, but I need one more step. That's the number 1, just with the close lever. I'm going to go along wherever I see that the fade is not perfect or that line still remains, and that'll knock it out for us without a problem. You can't really mess up a haircut. Now, of course, I know you can, but I just mean there's always something you can do to fix it, to touch it up, go a little bit higher. Tread carefully on this step, because if you go too high, then you're going to have to sort of restart your guidelines and your fade. I'll quickly run through my beard here. I'm using a number 2 closed alongside my cheeks, my jawline. I'm using a number 3 closed along my chin and goatee. And then here's just some tricks that you can use to fade out your beard. You see that we use that half guard on our sideburns. So to fade it out, I'm just going to use the number 1 clip. As I'm closer to my sideburns, it's a closed lever. And then as I move away from my sideburns, I'm going to use an open lever, because open means longer. And you're just slowly but surely fading out into the number 2 that you used for the rest of your beard. Really simple, but it also adds that nice professional looking touch. Here are the tips for clips trimmers, and I'm just going to go really naturally alongside my beard, and that's the key, is just to stay natural. This does a nice job of trimming up. Just want to go along the edges, clean up any strands of hair, any loose edges, anything that needs to be polished up. This just makes for a more professional look, cleaner look. And this is to each person's liking, how thin you want to make your sideburns or not. I make it straight along my jawline there. Go around the ear just a little bit. And you see that T-edge on the trimmer helps you to get those corners and to go behind the ear. So invest in some decent equipment, and again, in just 2 haircuts or less, you'll recoup the value. Here I'm trimming lightly my mustache, just going very lightly. The nice part about these trimmers is that they are forgiving, so if you slip up just a little bit, it's not going to totally mess up your hair and it's not going to cut you, but they're still sharp enough to get a nice clean cut. Here I'm just shaving around any stray hairs by my mustache. And then I'll quickly trim up my neckline. Again, nothing to it, just where it naturally ends towards the bottom there. Now for the back, turn around, get your mirror, and you're just going to try to make a straight line along the side. We already faded out the back bottom, so you're just making 2 nice straight and even lines on the back. It might take your mind a second to adjust to holding the mirror, perhaps switching hands. I'm using my left hand here. I'm not ambidextrous, but if you're just patient, you can get it. And that's it. Now for the top, I'm just going to trim my hair with scissors. Usually when I run my hand through my hair and I see that the hair is curling a little bit at the end, I know it's too long. And this is a preference thing. However long or short you want it at the top, you can make that decision. I have a video that I can link at the bottom on 2 different ways to cut your hair on top with clippers and with scissors. And that's all there is to it. We have a really nice fade. I'm gonna wash it right here, put some hair product in it, and you can see the finished product. Looks a lot better than when we started. And here is a reminder of what I looked like at the beginning. And here's the finished product. As always, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Everything I've used in this video is linked below, and I'll see you at the next video.